Here we are talking about Okra Wigfrey, the Mammy Supreme, yet again. Now, the last time I talked about Okra is when she was kicking Stedman out of the main house and having him sleep in the guest house. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if he's been sleeping there for quite some time. So now she's come out and she's basically peddling the same thing that Jerome Adams and Van Jones have been saying about the black community involving this virus and how we are disproportionately affected and everything like that. But of course, in the way that they said it, it was in a very, I guess you could say, tone deaf way, in a very offending way, in the way it was said, especially Jerome Adams. Like, we never gonna let him live that one down. But now Okra is basically coming out and saying the same thing, how black people are disproportionately affected by this and all this, that, and the third. I really don't have to rehash it. It was basically the same exact thing, wash, rinse, and repeat. But hers was just said in a more different tone. Then, of course, she had to mention the part about her having pneumonia months ago and how she's affected by it. Here's the thing, Okra. You have been piggybacking off the black community for the last 20 odd plus years just to cozy up to palm colored individuals, and you're still doing it. How do we know that what you're going through right now doesn't come from them? Because last I checked, this virus does not discriminate, but you see what she's doing, and this is why I hate mainstream media. When they put something out there about black people, they only have to do it one time and then everyone else will latch onto it. Like I said in one of my other videos, black people believe the worst of themselves whenever it comes from anybody else. But if we put out something good about ourselves, then we have to investigate to see how true it actually is, or we have to make sure that it's all copacetic, so to speak. But when it comes to something that's bad, we'll believe it. So she's basically peddling the same thing mainstream media has been putting out there for the last couple of weeks. It's amazing how this virus started over in China via Wuhan. It has spread throughout the globe. It lands here. As a matter of fact, the first couple of people that was affected and died from this wasn't even black. But see, that's why I always said that I wish the person who put out there that black people was immune to this did not say that so prematurely, extremely early, just because you didn't see black people dying. And now this was the ammo that was the ammo they needed, and then this comes up, and now they won't stop talking about it. And the thing is, they won't talk about the reasoning as to why that is. You can go to any black neighborhood and find a fast food spot on every corner, but I bet you won't find a Whole Foods. You probably won't even find a Harris Teeter's. You got to go way out far just to find one. Like, I can tell you within a 5 mile radius, with probably less than that, in a 2 mile radius, for me, is a McDonald's, or as I call it, McDeath. There's a Wendy's, a Bojangles, a KFC, a Taco Bell. What else is there? A Burger King. That's probably within a 1 mile radius, not even 2 miles. That's near me. Whole Foods. Shoot, the closest Whole Foods to me is probably in DC somewhere. Not even in the area where I'm at. That's probably the closest Whole Foods. I think I've only been in Whole Foods one time in my entire life, and that was a few years ago. I think that was before I started doing YouTube. So that shows you how long ago that was. So when you take all of that into consideration, and also economic deprivement, they don't take all of that into consideration. They just say, oh, we just eat bad and all types of stuff there, and all type of stuff like that. But when you look at the surroundings, now you see why that is. People go where proximity is. Now, granted, a lot of people probably have the option to go ahead and eat healthy, but they choose not to. Then, of course, you do have some shiftless people who refuse to go to the gym and work out and be healthy. But people like Okra, to come out of her mouth and say that kind of stuff, doesn't surprise me. This woman has been distancing herself from black people for God knows how long. But I bet you she won't dip her hand into that 2 point whatever billion dollar fortune she has and try to open up some healthier spots in black communities. We know she won't do that. We know that because she went out of her way to not build a school in Chicago where her show was at for 25 years. She went all the way across the pond and built a school in Africa where those girls were being molested and raped. And I know she knows this. She has to have known this. I doubt it's a rumor. How many times have we been hearing about those missionaries going over there messing with them kids or giving them something that made them sick and then they later died? And most of them are Caucasian, if not all of them. And besides, like I said, Okra has been doing her best to distance herself from black people. Truth be told, people have been catching on to Okra in the last couple of years, and I applaud that. The only person that's really concerned about Okra is Gail the Gargantuan. Shoot, Stedman really doesn't care about Okra like that. He's only there to get his weekly stipend, his weekly stimulus. Just make sure that the check clears and that it's in the account by this date. He's nothing more than her beard, I'm telling you. But yeah, Okra not going to do that. She's not going to do that. That's not in her character. She's not built like that. She only gives to where her paymasters tell her to give. And that's it. That's how her and many of the others like her operate. And they will continue to operate that way. So if this is some kind of concern plea that Okra is giving out, she can keep it. We don't need that coming from her. We don't need that at all coming from the likes of Okra, the Mammy Supreme Wigfrey. After all the stuff she has talked about black men over the years and even some black women. Remember how she treated Toni Braxton back in the day. It made her out to be a bad person. When you look back at it now, you see that it was Okra that was the bad one. But yeah, she's not to be trusted at all. So I don't care if she had pneumonia. She's not the first person in the world to get pneumonia, and she won't be the last. And the way that she said that and then mentioned black people, she made it seem like it was black people's fault why she got pneumonia. Excuse me? Which means that in her mind, she would believe that it's black people's fault why this thing can't subside, which is the seed that has been planted by mainstream media that now it's our fault. Why do you think the people over in China are doing what they're doing right now to black people over there? They saying putting up signs in McDonald's over there talking about no black person allowed in here. And from what I heard, they said that that the McDonald's corporation ended up shutting down their businesses for a little bit, and now they have to take that so-called sensitivity training. How come whenever they are racist to us, they always got to take some kind of sensitivity training as if that's going to get rid of their mentality? They've been like that for years. You can't take no sensitivity training or any training for that matter to undo that mindset. It's no way. It is no way you can do that. They do that all the time. But if it was us, fired, most likely blackballed, there will be no sensitivity training. If they had it their way, we'll probably get locked up. They'll slap us with a hate crime too. But all they get is some weak sensitivity training. That's laughable. That's a joke. But as for Okra, she can keep her little so-called concern and her mentioning black people in the way that she is and shove it up her you-know-what. Shove it up her wig. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter if you haven't done so already. Have your notifications turned on, and I'll talk to you in the next one.